Now it's time for our basketball ideology. So what I want to discuss today is something that I've seen for decades as a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know how like you can see something over and over again, and then all of a sudden it like clicks in your head. It's like, and you start revisiting, like when it happens today, you start to think back at all the other times it happened, and you're like, man, that's really a thing. So I've always tried to take care of it and do drills around it to help, but it's like I wanted to discuss it. When we're doing training and we do some contact drills where, they make their move, they have to come in, and we have the pad, and sometimes I have the little mitt like for boxing, so I'll bump them, swipe down to simulate contact. And a lot of the players are scared of that contact.
Yeah. It is a thing that very few people talk about in the basketball world, from middle school to high school, college, so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Because as a player, the last thing that you want, as an athlete, period, the last thing that you want is a coach or an evaluator or a trainer to say you're scared of something.
Right.
You're trying to avoid something. And most trainers, coaches, all the aboard, would not want to plant that seed in that athlete's head.
Right.
Hoping that they'll get through it.
Exactly.
But it's got to be discussed.
Yeah.
It's got to be discussed.
So we're doing different drills, and it's something that you start to know with certain players. I would say percentage-wise, out of 100%, I would say maybe 20% aren't bothered by the contact. The other 80 are at some point, whether it's the contact before you go into the shot, the contact as you're going into the shot, or the contact while you're in the air. Those three areas are. Now, I'll take it a step further. Okay. I had a drill that I was doing with my group, with my younger ones, at 5th and 6th graders. And the drill was, I would have one on the wing, one on the corner on offense, one defender, right? So I'd be up top. So the ball would go, if I threw the ball to the corner, the wing would come down and they would trap.
Okay.
And that offensive player would have to, learn how to pass it out. He couldn't cut to the basket.
Okay.
Because that's an easier pass. He had to either play release, because a lot of players, younger ones, don't understand what being a release is.
Right.
So I had to show him there. He had to be comfortable with making that pass, so I had to show him how to make that pass.
And these
right?
are 5th graders?
5th and 6th graders, yeah. So I'm showing them and getting them in the mindset, because those are things that that the parents and the coaches say, hey, they struggle on this. So giving them a big dose and helping them often, the next games in a few weeks, hey, you know what? Can we do more of this? That was really, really good for him. That was helping.
Yeah.
So the ball would go there, they would trap, then he'd have to throw it back to him, then they were live, right?
Gotcha.
In the course of doing this, what I found was when I had him to throw the ball to the wing, the bottom had to come up and trap, right? Obviously, he can't cut to the basket. So what I told him is, once he throws you the ball to the corner, once you get it in the corner, you can attack. You can shoot, you can attack the basket, whatever. You're live. So once the ball went to the corner, once he caught it at the 3, obviously they're in the scramble defense, which is another part of it. Who's going to go help? Right. So I was having that element. This player would often drive to the basket. This player is chasing him down to cut him off.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know, doing that drill, it was probably 5% of layups made. And that's why I was like, you guys are scared of these layups. You're so worried about this person, you're not focusing on, if he's here, I just go with a reverse.
Right.
If I can get to the basket in one dribble, I can turn here.
Right.
I can dribble as he's coming. I can kind of, give him a bump to create space and go up. They struggle mightily.
Wow.
They struggle
Wow.
mightily, and it was great. It was so great seeing that happen. I switched the drill, and I only threw it to the wing to force them to drive because I knew that pass was coming. They started trying to shoot because they didn't want to go to the basket. And then I started calling them out. Like, why are we shooting threes?
Right. Which is highlighting the fear.
Right. Why are we shooting threes, contested threes, and they looking at me? I was like, you rushed the three. I said, why not pump fake them? Now you can take a couple of dribbles and miss. And every time they missed, they were doing this. And they were like, I was like, yeah, I know what this means. Y'all was scared. Now, I wasn't demeaning them.
No,
I wasn't demeaning them. I was in it with them, and I was calling them out as like a player the way I would talk to them and say, hey, you go up and finish that.
Right.
So we did it until they got a little bit. They were still missing them at a higher clips, but I needed them to see that they could make those layups, to have that focus. And now, 5th and 6th graders, you kind of can, these kids have been playing a lot of basketball. So it was a little bit more eye-opening that these kids were missing these easy layups with the fear of that person chasing them down. But when you do it and you doing it with, high school players, it's a little different.
Well, it's almost the same, to be honest, because I obviously have high school players, and we had a couple guards who would get trapped and would panic.
Right.
If you panic, it's fear. I said, you can't be scared of it. So what we just started doing every day is getting these two guards on the wing and just trapping them.
Right.
Just trapping them. Then we play 1-on-3. Hey, we toss the ball out. They'd have to go, accept the traps, dribble, retreat.
Right.
And just it really helped them going into July.
Right.
So in my mind, you talked about finishing initially with contact. It's kind of the same way with trapping. So we started really trying to transition guards' mind into playing physical. Everybody talks about playing more physical on defense, but you can play physical on offense too.
Yes.
With the ball.
Yes.
Kind of how you would do, kind of just stay low, like you had great patience. I say had, like you're not here anymore.
No, it's had. It's had.
So, you have great patience in just seeing things develop.
Right.
And I'm like, you have to really slow your clock down and slow your mind down.
Right.
Hey, you see him coming, you know what's going to happen. So now I'm focusing on levels 1, 2, and 3 and just trying to see the floor.
Yeah.
But it takes reps.
Right. And that's what you said is so key, that it takes reps. You do it to where you're doing it all the time. Now it becomes normal. You're not stressed out about it. Thinking about how when we were at UTEP and we're playing and you have Ralph, Johnny Melvin, those guys, and they're 6'7", and they're long arms, and they're up on you. And I'm telling my kids, like, man, I was guarded by that. I've always been guarded by taller guards, but over 6'3", it really starts to be, you have to be, better at that control because they're that much taller and longer than you. And I'm telling the kids, if you can learn to just relax and understand that you have counters at your disposal, and if you keep them away and don't panic, you can make things happen. Right. But it's the normalization of that drill. So I've really started I've done 1-on-2 drills where I'll inbound it from the side. You go at that one. Once you attack, then the second one comes and stuff like that. I've done those where it's you got to go up and down the court against two players. Right. But this one was different. This type of trapping was different because you get to see structurally how bad a lot of these players are with being able to protect. It's like they come up and they immediately go like this and bring the ball behind. And then the guy's there and they try to throw it like this. And it's like, no, you don't want to bring it over your head like this, because now if they get really close, it's hard for you to bring it up. So you can fake, but then you want to keep that ball over to this side, right? Or over to this side, and then you can pivot, either use a pivot to get in their space or pivot and turn. And then I try to tell them, don't catch the ball close to the out of bounds sideline. Catch it close to the 3-point line. Now, if you have to retreat dribble, you can retreat dribble, create that space, give you 0.8 of a second, which is a lot of time to make a decision to either try to drive or to hit that release when they're coming out. So go ahead.
And just, I apologize.
No.
And just high school athletes, even college, when players are in a close proximity to you, like, just think about the best player that you've ever watched. They're never putting the ball above your head. If you stood right here and hold the ball above your head, I can knock that thing out very easily.
Right.
Your best guards or even wing players, they're low.
They're getting low.
Why? Because I've got the ball in here, and that's where my strength is. Now, I don't keep the ball here, but you'd be surprised at how much stronger you'll be at the ball if you just maneuver the ball and change that basketball. Also, if you just raise your level of awareness.
Right.
You know?
And that's another thing.
Yeah, and not just press that panic button, oh my gosh, they're coming. Defenses know when you're scared.
Yeah.
You know, and so, or hesitant, but it's really fear.
And the funniest part about that is the players are running the same defense. So if it's a 2-3 zone that they trap on, and these players are the corner and the wing, they do a great job at trapping and making turnovers. But when you flip it, now they're on offense, they make the same mistakes that they cause to turn over. And it's like, yo, if you do it, you should know how to deal with it.
Absolutely.
But it's getting them the mindset and having them to understand. And I'm projecting with this, in another couple of months, of really hitting home. Because what I do is I stop it, and sometimes I'll have them redo it, and I'll be there and I'll say, look, this is how you want to do it and how you need to approach it, and have them to see it visual. Because a lot of players are visual. They're visual more than actually talking. So I have to show them how to do it, show them how to come to the release, be ready. Once that ball comes, he's coming. As soon as you catch it and attack. Now they're on their heels. But the more you do it, and I talk them through it, which is, I think, one of the things a lot of young coaches or bad coaches do, is there's so much yelling and screaming and cursing about whatever it is doing when they do it in practice. Because from what I understand, a lot of them don't address the stuff that happens, right? So when you talk it to them and I encourage them and say, look, in order to be effective, if this is something you want to do, you have to be able to try to make, I don't care about you making that mistake, an aggressive mistake, but I want an aggressive mistake. I don't want a fearful or an intimidated mistake.
I love it. And to be honest, like, I see it as when you're disciplining a child or a kid, sorry, Johnny. Little Johnny, don't touch that. Don't touch that. Little Johnny look at you like, whatever. I hear this all the time.
Yeah.
Now, when you go to the Keenon grocery store and start, firing off some shots with that belt, I don't believe in abuse, but I believe in corporal punishment.
Yeah.
In the home.
Oh yeah.
So talking doesn't do it. There's probably 3% of kids that talking will do it.
Right.
But listen, man, like, it's the same thought process. Telling an athlete something and not just showing them, but the detailed, intricate parts of the drill and how they can be successful, you're going to create more success. And you're going to be a better coach. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Sure. Oh, and you don't have to keep saying, sorry, you're a co-host. But you had to say sorry when you was just featuring, but now that you're a co-host, you can, hey, no, look, here.
Well, I gotta there's another layer to Street Cred Sports and Time the Ball podcast that I really have to be respectful to. AC, capital A, capital C, Miss April Cage. So I know my lane because, she already kind of has my pink slip ready. It has my name.
Who got to sign off on that pink slip? If she give you your pink slip, all you gonna do is text me and say it was a joy working for you, and I'm gonna say, what you mean? Well, you just let me go. Who let you go? Well, April just gave me the pink slip. Bring me that pink slip. I'll take care of that.
Yeah.
Maybe now April gets a pink slip.
Hey, listen. When you see him with a ramen noodle bowl or a cup every night, hey, boy, you gotta be careful.
Oh, okay, so